There's been a lot of talk recently about how Robin spends money, and that's totally justified. She has this huge house that she had to have because the kids all had to have their own bedroom. We know that she came in with a lot of debt, and some of that was from Victoria's Secret, which people find really bizarre. A lot of things like that. But I don't think we've been discussing enough how much Kody spends. So one of the things that struck me from the very first episode was he drove a convertible. So he drove a convertible and he had a motorcycle. This is a man who at that time had 12 children with one on the way, 3 wives, and now we know that Christine was pregnant and working a night job. Mary was working, Janelle was working, and he was working. They were not flush with cash, but he still chose to have both a motorcycle because, he needs it. Kody's this guy's guy, so that, and a convertible, which meant that none of the kids could really travel in it. Mary also had a convertible, which I also kind of have an issue with. And people have made a lot of excuses and said, well, he was a businessman. He needed a flashy car. No, he didn't. He couldn't have a total junker. That might affect his business, but he didn't need his flashy car. People have said, oh, well, he got that from the MLM. I think people are getting confused because in Vegas, he got a new convertible through his MLM, through his marketing job, which is what they called it. Now, I didn't know this, but someone who was in the know about MLMs explained to me in a comment that those aren't free. They give you a little bit. Well, they said a lot of stuff about downlines and payments and this and that, but I didn't understand it because I don't know anything about MLMs except that they tend to make big promises and then you get eaten up in costs and they lie and stuff like that. Okay. But I did Google it, and everything I found said, no, they don't give you one. You pay for it. They basically trick you into getting to leasing or buying a new car that you pay for, which is wild when they were already in Vegas struggling to try to buy property and stuff like that. But he has said repeatedly over the years, he likes nice things. He's complained that the wives' houses they bought or leased weren't nice enough. He wanted nice, pretty views. He had, he spent money on nice clothing. We've had plenty of people over the years who point out how they dress. And, he's got this people call the heart of the ocean necklace that he's wearing. He likes expensive things. This is not, and they said, the OG wives, Janelle, Mary, and Christine, said early on that Kody spends differently than they do. Christine and Janelle especially talked about how they combine their food budget. They do big bulk stuff. Christine had a set, a menu that she did so they could save money. And Kody's like, oh, I don't worry about that kind of stuff. They had a set budget. But the kids knew if they went to Kody would just kind of buy him whatever they wanted because he had his own budget, which I didn't realize until the rewatch, that he kind of spent however he wanted. So criticize Robin all you want, but don't forget to criticize Kody for the fact that he has always been a lavish spender. When Mary wanted to borrow money for the B&B, he goes, oh, well, I pulled 40 out for a business venture, but I've only put 20 back, which meant he was in the hole. This is not a brilliant genius man, and this is someone who is selfish and spending a lot of money, and so he also deserves criticism.